all of our brothers and sisters on the African continent. You're tuning into Black Hot Fire Radio, and you're listening to...
Yes, Karibuni sana to the Black African Bliss Show. Yet another episode where we get to discuss Africa and its people and the problems we're going through. Karibuni sana to everyone live with us for the first time on YouTube, Rumble, Beach, everyone with us on the radio, to the returning listeners, subscribers. Hope you guys are doing great. Apologies, we've been having issues with our lights, man. I don't know, even if I should be apologizing because it's not my fault, but apologies because of course you guys expect us to be running, but Ruto with abductions, he has decided you'll not know what is happening in this country because he knows lights and the internet is what makes us spread information. So if you don't have lights, your phones will go off. What will you be having to do with TikTok with, once your phone goes off? If you don't have internet, you can't post anything and you can't buy bundles every time. Are you going to buy ugali or bundles every hour? You got to pick a struggle. Karibuni sana once again. My name is Joby, and of course today we have an amazing conversation. We shall be talking about what has been happening. So much has been happening, of course. We have a lot to catch up on. When we talk about the African news, shall be discussing about what has been happening in Nigeria. Nigerians actually have 30 days challenge of venting online. And of course, this is calling out the politicians on what they have not been doing, what they're supposed to be doing. They've been complaining about school fees being hiked up. A lot of things, actually, prices being hiked up. I think for the times I've been able to do the show, that was Wednesday, Tuesday, when I tried to share the video of that lady and the guy who went to the market actually showing us the prices of things and commodities being high. It is real, and I'm glad to see that Nigerians are actually coming forward, but they are very scared. So I'll be sharing a video on that. As also discussed where Tinubu, that was still on the same Wednesday, he suspended so many officials and right now is electing or selecting other ones who are working in his favor. So we shall be discussing on that and talk about literally this corruption where they want it to be a mandatory thing always to be working. If you don't want to be held accountable, all you gotta do is just shuffle the people working for you. If the people working for you try to do what is right, all you have to do is shuffle them, get the people who are gonna do what is working for you. Along that, we shall be discussing the number of actually Africans in prison, including 1,000 Kenyans who actually right now serving long sentences, that is in the US, and we'll be checking why majority of these Kenyans are involved in these crimes. And this reminds me of the Vietnam lady, the video we were talking about, but not just that. So many Africans, like I said on Wednesday, we go outside the continent without checking the rules that actually, how the legal rules, and the kind of things, or, I might face racism. It's like a video I saw of another lady, who is actually a traveler, and I was like, you questioning about racism as if you've not traveled is crazy. Africans, I believe like Africans, once you step outside there, if you face racism and it's there, it shouldn't be a culture shock anymore, no matter where you go in the world once you meet a white person. Because if you've already experienced it, maybe once it should be a shock, but twice it shouldn't be a shock to you if you know the true facts of what is happening. Along that, we're going to talk about, of course, also about Dr. Mombi, who was abducted. Shout out to Keith for giving us this information. I'd not seen that. The blogs are not posting about this. And of course, I've noticed something with the blogs. Every time they post something that actually is going to hit or actually affect the government or Ruto, most of them, it's like they're being threatened to take it down.
Take it down.
Yeah, I've noticed that. You'll see some videos, like I saw a video of 15 lions. Right now, I'm walking in, I can't even walk around this place at night anymore. I'm so scared of my life. We saw 15 lions. They're walking scot-free in Rongai. 15 lions.
What?
Yeah, 15 lioness. So that video was posted by a certain blog, and I was trying to show Iwaton yesterday, telling her to be careful with the surrounding where she's walking at night. And I couldn't find the video. It's like the blogs were told to take it down because the question was, what is Ruto doing apart from telling us about chapatis? Are chapatis supposed to keep lions in the fence? Those are the kind of answers we really, really need, because people's lives are in danger. Dogs are getting killed, in people's houses because the wild animals have the ability to jump the walls, so they're going to come and kill your dog. And that is majority of the cases of what has been happening recently. So we shall talk about that. Dr. Mombi, Congo, what is happening, and so much more as we get to continue. So karibuni sana, shout out to Byron.
You got 15 lions running around here loose.
15 good lions. They are running loose. And Ruto is here talking about chapatis. He's focused on actually capturing humans, not wild animals. He's focused on capturing human beings so that we can keep quiet, not talk about what is happening, instead of
They
him
supposed,
capturing
they
wild
supposed
animals.
to had the pest control over there and get them lions like they did. But it wasn't like last year you realized they had that wild hippo run
Mm-hmm.
around, run guard you.
Yeah, there was a hippo, there was an elephant that killed someone last year. We had an hyena that killed a woman going to work in the morning last year.
Wow.
Literally, it's been happening a lot of time. And I'd say where we live here, we're surrounded by wild animals, being honest. So if not careful, if they don't fence the whole region correctly, we're gonna be affected one day. One time we're gonna be raided by wild animals because we literally live close to a park, literally. Like if I remember this last time we went to the wild animals where we saw the warthogs and all that, the hippos. The last time we
Yeah.
were there with Shmani and Katie, that is actually just a few minutes from here. It's not that far. The giraffe center is quite far from here, but the Wild National Park is just right here, literally. And the time we went bike riding, we also went the same areas with
Wow.
Iwaton. We were so scared, but we risked our lives. We went there, we saw giraffes, we saw antelopes, walking scot free, no fines, no nothing,
You know, was that the time when you guys were riding bikes? That time?
Yeah, yeah. We went to the wild park, like literally deep inside. We saw antelopes, giraffes, so many animals, literally. So we were just so scared to bump into a lion because it's so bushy there. It's super bushy. And white people live there, a lot of them. And there's also like hotels deep inside there because people do visit the places. But anyway, as we get started, I think I'm gonna start, of course, with what has been happening in Nigeria. I've not followed much more of this particular information. There has been a river that has been damaged, leave alone the Zimbabwe one, but there is one that is under investigation that is in Nigeria. And if you talk about Nigeria, a lot actually is happening when you talk about investigation. Shell is being investigated, which we know is not going to go anywhere because of the oil spillage, damaging of environments, people's livelihood, killing fishes and killing rivers. That investigation is still going on, but of course, like I said, it's not going to go anywhere. But yeah, we have Tinibu, that was this week on Wednesday or Thursday morning yesterday. I saw him literally announcing that he has sent some government officials back at home. The reason is, let this lady explain it as literally we get started with today's
The
conversation.
president just came on live and declared a state of emergency in Rivers and also suspended Fubara and his deputy for 6 months. I think an ex-naval officer is now the administrator of the state. A few minutes ago, they were investigating what happened in Rivers State to know if it was an accident or an act. Yes, that was what they said. Just this evening, they've concluded and they've suspended Fubara and they've also suspended his deputy. And we now have an ex-military officer as the administrator of the states. Nigeria, we hail thee. Please, anything you are saying, be very careful. Nigeria, we hail thee. This is the funniest thing. Like, no. Like, I cannot believe this is happening in Nigeria. Eh? The president.
Yeah, so you can see as much as they're
These
talking,
Nigerians, these Nigerians English be so bad. I don't know what the fuck they be saying.
you don't
Their,
understand
their,
what they're
their, their English is almost, yeah, I get it, I can understand it. Their English is almost as bad as the Jamaicans. That shit is great.
saying.
I
Okay,
don't know
then.
what they be saying. Their English is abominable.
So
Oh
that
my
was on
God.
Tuesday. On Tuesday, Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers State and also suspended governors and his deputy, and elected new lawmakers in the state. So this shows you there's something happening in terms of corruption. The investigation, I'm here to do also my investigation to see what is happening in that particular river, because where there's fire, where there's smoke, there's fire. So there's something that actually might have happened that is, of course, involving corruption. And because investigations are being done, Tinubu, who's definitely probably involved, doesn't want this to happen. So they're also saying that we have a retired admiral and former chief of naval staff who have taken over as sole administrators of the river state. So they have been reappointed. We have officials who had not been working. Now they're back to work, because it depends how corrupt are you for you to be working for your people. That is our democracy, how it applies or works. They're also saying that his arrival occurred almost the same time Nigerian's House of Representatives approved the declaration of a state of emergency in the southern state, and the Senate would later follow suit, approving the emergency rule with minor changes. The Premium Times earlier reported that the President Bola Tinubu declared a state of emergency in the southern states. That was on Tuesday, and also suspended the governor, and the president consequently appointed Mr. Ibas as the sole administrator state. He cited the disturbing incidents in the state in the last 24 hours, including explosions, vandalization of petroleum pipelines linked to the political crisis in the state, and as the basis of emergency rule. And of course, this is all to do with resources. Where there's pipes, it's definitely something to do with oil, and which is leading to particularly an oil spillage somewhere. And Tinubu is very much deep involved. But I love the way Nigerians actually are able to see what is happening, because personally, I've not. It's very rare you find Nigerians talking about politics. I always want to give what's her name, Anita Ivy, the round of applause, because she's been, I'd say, the only confident Nigerian who we've seen, of course, coming board.
I haven't seen it in a while.
I've been following up on her. I've been watching her videos still, still exposing white people, everything, the history and all that. So we've not seen most of the Nigerians having such kind of a bold move, but this is amazing to see that actually they are reacting towards it, and they have started a 30-day challenge, because this is how it started in Kenya. Trust me, like this is how we started online. We started with just online ranting, venting, and all that. And then immediately we were actually going to the streets. I left a comment on that other video. Personally, I told them, you should go the Kenyan way, stop talking online. You guys need to go the Kenyan way. Leave alone the EndSARS movement where you guys are talking about police brutality. This is now about your lives. It's about your economy. You're understanding this is affecting you. You need to go the Kenyan way. Online is not going to help you. You need to show these people how much of change you need, and they need to serve you, not them. It's not about them, not about their family members. It's not about nepotism. You also deserve a chance there, because most of the Africans, again, we have to give up our lands seeking education. You have to sell the only asset you have, the only wealth you have, because you're seeking for bullshit education, and you're going to end up being jobless. I was watching a video of another lady yesterday on TikTok who was saying she's a graduate, but right now she's been forced to become a mama mboga. Mama mboga is literally the women selling vegetables on the market, leaving a career to go sell vegetables. You can imagine how much have you already spent in that school for you to just, and you've been sold hopes of, because that's what they do. And even not hopes right now, because we see them coming to our faces boldly telling you, no matter how much you graduate, there's nowhere where you're gonna go. How dare you? I demand to be given a job, and that is what Africans are demanding right now.
It's my second day on the rant challenge, and I'm here to tell you,
they can't give you, Joey, what they haven't created. They can't give you what they haven't created.
We demand it. You need to create it. Because what's the reason? Why can't you create job opportunities? Yesterday, I got so mad waking up to, every time I open Instagram, I get mad sometimes, because it's all about politics. My feed is always about politics, literally. So I woke up and saw this video of the Kenyan official, or the Kenyan government spent 80 billion on salary of government officials. 80 billion. 80 billion?
Yes, corrupt.
Oh, like this is so unacceptable, man. There's no way you're gonna accept this as a normal thing. And they're still demanding salary rises apart from 80 billion. This is part of the budget of the nation. What have you done for you to actually be gaining all these 80 billion?
Nothing. They corrupt. That's what all the officials in Africa have been doing. They keep the money, and the people live in poverty. That's Africa. Exactly.
If 80 billion, and you can see someone is spending $1 billion to just travel. $1 billion. That's a governor of a certain county spending $1 billion on just taking planes and champagnes, nothing else.
And that money right there, you're supposed to build Jobs, Joby. Bring
Exactly.
factory.
So we do demand those jobs. You can't tell me I'm graduating. I need you to create. You need to create industrialization. You need to create manufacturing industries. I don't know what you're gonna create, but
Well,
I need that job.
there's an African, there's an African on YouTube and TikTok saying you can't industrialize Africa because there are no real African countries. He's saying he's saying that, like you said, Nigeria as the guy. Is Nigeria a country? And people say, yeah, it's a positive country. You got 200 different ethnic groups, and none of them get along. He said, what is Nigerian culture? Is there such thing as Nigerian or Ghanaian or Kenyan culture? He said, it doesn't exist. He said, it doesn't exist. You guys have a
Well,
bunch of different countries inside of a country, but you got no Nigerian culture. It doesn't exist.
mm-hmm.
What's a Nigerian? Go ahead,
I
Joe.
sort of agree with him because we don't have
Oh,
countries. I mean, our
you
country.
saw you saw what he said? Yeah,
Yeah, I do agree with him literally because we don't have any countries. If these countries number one are being put up as companies where we have the white people, the Dutch, the British,
wait,
the French,
yeah.
the
Exactly. So he's saying, so how you gonna industrialize a place that's not a country? How you gonna industrialize that?
we can't. Being honest, I do agree with him. Number one, the only way we can do that is by number one uniting. Only
Of course,
unity.
of
Once you
course.
unite, we have one culture. That is number one. Once you unite, we serve. Actually, we are representing one culture. A culture of one. Number
Exactly.
one, we demanding change. We demanding accountability. We demanding. This is not about the Igbo. This is not about the Borana. This is not about the Kikuyu.
Exactly.
About the Luos. This is about me as an African in this country. You need
There
to
you
do what
go.
us. So once we
Exactly.
realize
Exactly.
that, the more we're divided, the more we know these politicians keep taking advantage of it. It serves them.
Of course.
You
Of
know,
course. Exactly.
if you
Because
come, if you
I
come from Haiti, yeah, I'm gonna end up eating the same. I'm like, the moment I meet with an Igbo person, I'm like, go, you don't even eat jollof rice. You're the worst cookers of jollof rice. That's the only
exactly. What a
mm,
crazy shit. Yeah.
you know, arguing about bullshit. Or you don't have the best.
Exactly. Exactly. Talking about shit that don't even matter. We talking about your love Christ.
This
But
is
look, we both ain't got no job and the country is industrialized. We talking about fucking rice.
who has the best bushmeat? Come on, can you talk about
Yeah.
how are we not eating bushmeat, all of us? We should be talking about that. Not who's eating the best, who isn't. Come on.
President of
exactly.
Federal Republic of Nigeria that your whole administration is a terrible administration. And in this video, I will be addressing the Minister of Education and the Commissioner of Education for Delta State. Your
So number one, before I even share this and as I get to continue, I wish Africans we also gain the knowledge. I hope as much as the awakening is happening, I want us to get to know and understand how the rest of the world doesn't pay school fees, but just us. And with that, we need to actually bring a big problem. Okay, because we get the shittiest education, it's very expensive, and yet they keep increasing the school fees. Explain to me why the rest of the world does not pay school fees, but me. In whose rules do we live by? Because if it is the same white people, then they need to bring the same rules right here. If it is them you serve, if it is them you serve, not us, you need to tell them. Since they don't pay school fees in their homes, we are not going to pay school fees here. We need to be venting and crying because I've
Most
seen
Africans don't.
it.
Most Africans don't know that you don't pay school fees. You know that, Joby.
We
Most Africans know that.
And that's what I'm saying. This knowledge needs to be actually be passed on, and we need to refuse paying school fees. Appear in schools, but no school fees. I don't know how you're gonna pay those teachers, but that is none of my goddamn
You
business.
you pay them through your taxes. Joby. School is paid through taxes. Your taxes
Yeah,
supposed to pay
taxes.
the teachers. Yeah,
No,
just like
my
the taxes in America. The taxes in America pay the teachers. The
exactly.
taxes, Joe.
So why am I going to sell my land? Why should my mother and father sell a goat?
Exactly.
All the sheep, all the herds we have in the ground. Why should I go become a slave in Saudi Arabia for me to actually ensure my brothers and sisters are going to school back in Africa? Why should I go to Canada, die there, starving of cold, because I need my child to have the best education in the same African continent? And then if I want to go seek for a better job outside the African continent, oh, your education is very shitty. You need to advance your education. And then you ask yourself, what have I been
Yeah,
studying? But I have
that's
I've got
right. That's right. Your education not accepted. Exactly. your African education is not accepted outside of Africa. It's garbage.
And then I end up
It's
asking
almost,
myself, I've gone to the best university in Kenya, in Africa. Like, what do
yep,
you mean my education is not
exactly.
the best in
Yeah,
Africa? What do you mean my education is not? Oh, because you're an African and your skills
exactly.
do not apply here. The same education, the Negro education does not apply here. You need some British white, you know,
Yep,
education
yeah.
in it so that you can be more of a puppet. Because I remember that lady. That lady explained it very well. The video I was sharing the other time. She said, education, you are a slave of education. And of course, you're going to get the jobs you want, but you'll need to advance. And even if you get the jobs, you're still a slave. You are a slave because you just advanced a little bit, to become, how do I call it? The owner of a slave. Like he's just applying some oil on you, to
You're getting a job to become a better slave. That's right.
yeah, exactly. Which is so crazy.
Administration are terrible. They are the worst administration ever. You people should be ashamed of yourself for occupying such office. As a minister of education, you are supposed to look after anything concerning education in Nigeria. As a minister, what are you doing? You are doing nothing. You are doing nothing. I can remember in 2017, I paid 16,500 naira to write my WAEC. It's the same WAEC that students are paying 120,000 naira for in 2025. 120,000 naira for WAEC. 120,000 naira. I wrote WAEC with 16.5, 2017. Now, if you just go to the streets, you will see a lot of students that are not going to write this 2025 WAEC. Why? Because there's no money. They did not register. They don't have.
Exactly. And also when it comes to, let's say, the last educations, because there's when you're graduating for primary or high school, there's a registration fee. So also if you don't register, you're gonna you'll have to drop out. That is just it. If your parents can't afford the registration fees of you completing your education, which is mandatory, you will have to drop out. And that is basically what she's speaking about. This is just unacceptable because this applies not just to Nigeria, but the whole of Africa. Again, we have public schools, I think right now in all African countries, if I'm not wrong, but they are very shitty. Very, very shitty. Personally, I'd say at least Kibaki did something great, where some of the schools actually are still very well maintained. He gave us literally, when we had public schools introduced, they were so pretty. I'm not gonna cap. Everyone wanted to go to public schools because number one, there's no paying of school fees. Until now, we had teachers in introducing their greediness and corruption of telling you it is mandatory for you to come for tuitions, and if you don't go for tuitions, you get beaten. So this is a teacher hustling your parent or hustling you through your parents, where you have to mandatory pay tuition. And then I remember the government of Kenya came and said, no student should be going for tuition. But this rule was never followed. Still, students have to go for tuition because teachers are not being well paid. That's why they get their minimal skuma and, ugali, the ugali money for them to keep up with their daily lifestyle. And some little lip gloss and come talk to me shit like she's the shit or is the shit. And ask you which tribe are you, and then start talking shit to you because of your tribalism. This is schools. Man, we need to end. This system has to be
Wow,
all
crazy.
scrapped down. It has to be scrapped down. It has to actually be dissolved, and we need to rebuild everything new because nothing is making sense in Africa. And I'm glad to see Africans waking up. What are you doing in these offices? Why are you given these positions? Why are you occupying the Ministry of Education if you're not ensuring everyone in Nigeria, everyone in Kenya, everyone in Malawi, everyone in Tanzania gets educated? Why are you in these offices? Oh, filling your balloon stomach. That is what is always growing. Focus very well. That is just the only thing that is always growing in these people's occupation. But as we get to move on, moving from Nigeria, well, I wish them the best. That is basically what I can say. Personally, I love leaving comments when I see such kind of videos. I tell them what to do. And I've already told them, go the Kenyan way. That is the only thing. Venting, ranting online, of course, is the best way to start to show, of course, you're very concerned about your country because back then, 10 years, 5 years ago, we were not seeing any of this. And then shout to TikTok, which is also an amazing, amazing platform, which has allowed us to share our our words, participate in the freedom of speech. As much as you're gonna get abducted like Dr. Mombi, as we get into that, still it has allowed us to actually talk, more than we used to wait for officials to come and discuss matters on the TV. When you hear now there's a certain activist coming on the TV, of which they have to code their words as well, because they're not real activists. They come on TV, they act out, they care for the people and how the people should be cared for and all that. That is how we used to actually live back then. We have to sit there waiting for news at 7 a.m., at 7 p.m., at 10 p.m., at 4 p.m., waiting for news. Nowadays, we are our own reporters. Like Shmani said, everyone is a reporter now. Literally, everyone is saying something, and I don't think there's anything apart from trying to be a journalist, a fake journalist. Everyone should have the right to participate in freedom, literally, and I love to say it. But as we get into the Dr. Mombi's situation, so of course this happened this week, where Dr. Mombi was reported missing, and I want to share the video of this big nose guy. I call him that personally. So I don't know if you guys know his name. Maybe you can use his name.
O'Shea something. O'Shea Duke Jackson or something like that.
Yeah, so I saw his video, but before I saw his video, I'd seen some pictures, of course. Like I said, personally, didn't recognize this was Dr. Mombi, and it is sad to see that this is still happening in our very own country. No matter how many times we've been demanding accountability of who is abducting Kenyans, because we're not getting answers. Who is really abducting Kenyans? The president himself was questioned by so many youths. I remember he went to a certain university and he said, "Give me a list of all those people who are still missing, and we shall ensure everyone has gotten back home safely." And the list was released. Shout out to the journalist on Citizen TV. She released all the list.
Name.
Yeah, and immediately everyone was trying to defend her to not lose her job, because she was threatened. You're gonna lose your job. Now you're gonna have to be very careful with everything you say and all that. Yvonne Chikwara, that is her name, and
Did she lose
this
her job? Is she still around?
she didn't. She was threatened. So everyone went on TikTok, literally, of course, defending her. She's like, everyone was like, she did nothing wrong. All she did is, as a journalist, do her work. You said you need a list.
Exactly.
Came up with
Yeah,
a
that's what I'm
list.
saying. But that's what I'm saying. Is she still around, or did they fire her?
She's still around. She's still around, but
Okay.
she's very careful.
Quiet.
She's the same
She's
lady.
quiet now. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the same lady. I shared the video of her talking about the carbon, explaining how it is working in Kenya. But she's very careful with everything she says, because you're not gonna end up
She,
in a good position in
so she was,
Kenya. So
yeah, 'cause
this
she
is
was
what
threatened.
So this is what happened to Dr. Mombi. Abductions have still been happening. Videos are going viral. At least on a broad daylight, if you're not alone, if you're not caught on the wrong corner, nowadays Kenyans are trying to help you. If you see unidentified and uniformed people claiming they are arresting you without any reason, no warrant, no nothing, Kenyans are standing up with you. That is what I've seen recently with, I think, so far, 5-10 incidents. Kenyans are standing up, beating up these police officers, so-called police officers, asking them to remove their identification card as police officers, because there's no, you're going to be just abducting young people, old people, for just saying what is right. You need to identify yourself first. So let me share this as we get.
Some people think that YouTube is just a job or a career for people to get on a microphone and
I
just
think I could find a better video of someone explaining it better, but I'm gonna listen to this cool for now.
talk trash.
I'm gonna call it.
And that is true. I talk a lot of trash for a living and make some dollars from it. But depending on where you live in the world, YouTube is also very dangerous. And depending on what country that you live in, YouTube can literally get your ass gunshots.
See, these are cool.
It can get your ass shot. And when you get on here and you put out your opinions, it could also put your life or your family's life in danger. And this is the case with a YouTuber that I've actually met and hung out with before, Dr. Mumbi Saraki. Dr. Mumbi Saraki is a YouTuber based out of Nairobi, Kenya. And she is a Pan-African YouTuber, but she's always been
She ain't based out of
more
Nairobi
focused
more.
on
She ain't been in Nairobi for like 5 years. She lives in Mombasa.
local government politics, even from her days on the radio. She's very known in Nairobi. and she is what you would call a fence rattler. And I remember when I met her with Woody Maya some years ago, and he was even asking about her controversial takes.
Why do you love being controversial? That's the first question.
Well,
how's
for
it
me,
controversial?
really,
Tell the
my
truth.
theme is Wake Up Africa.
You got two coons asking why you like to tell the truth.
The truth is always called a controversial.
Exactly.
And I don't know if people actually think that I do take that very, very seriously. And I think one of the things that us as Africans hold us back is we're so afraid. I think it's in our upbringing, the mix of culture and education, where you couldn't question anything, you couldn't question elders, everything you were told, you took at face value. So my only point is to kind of trigger you to think in a totally different way.
Exactly, and that's why Ruto is very scared, because he wants us to, because this motherfucker has been in politics ever since our second president. That is when he was a member of parliament. So this guy, not only has he been involved in corruption, but he has seen all that evolution of docility, of people not always questioning shit, people always just being quiet,
Exactly, Joe.
People being silenced, people being threatened. If you want to threaten someone, abduct them, put some buns on their faces and heads, and then they'll be quiet. They'll stop talking about you. So he wants to go with the same bullshit, not understanding we are on a different generation. People are more exposed to the internet. Information is coming out. We know what leadership and our leadership should work today. We're not our grandparents. We're not our mothers and fathers. Even for them, they're waking up whether they like it or not. We're telling them, it's either you're with me or you're not. And I love to see that in youths nowadays. They're telling their parents, it's either you understand or you're not. You're either going to learn by force or not. You're going to have to wake up. Because like I was saying on Wednesday, we have a group of so many people dragging us literally behind through revolution. This should have already been, it should be done and dealt with. But because of these people who don't, he's good, give him time, he's going to change. Leaders always require time. Everything cannot change once. He can. He can.
And to make you emotional. I mean, if you're getting emotional, it says a lot more about you than it says about me. No, you're not making it. Because some people will write me long letters and I'm like, wow, like this is so about you. If I could give you a little counseling session, I could unlock some things in your life. But yeah.
That was in 2018. That was 7 years ago. And Dr. Mumbi has done nothing but become more radical as time goes on.
Radical.
Clips like this have gotten her into a lot of controversy.
We know he's looking for that YouTube dollar. He just said it.
Exactly, Joe. But this clown, she's got a lot more radical. Nothing she said has been radical. Nothing. Actually, Dr. Mumbi's content, as Joby and Katie said in the year time, has been mild. Man, they went away from it because it's mild. It's not what he's saying is absolute nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
This is for entertainment purposes only. So now, with everything we've got going on in Kenya and the whole revolution and trying to get rid of Nabi,
this was our last video, the last video she did.
All of a sudden now, and I know it's not all of a sudden, the United Nations has announced.
No, not the last video, no.
That they will be moving significant operations of UNICEF, which is all about the United Nations Child Education Fund, and UNFPA to Nairobi. I keep telling you, Kenya ain't no ordinary land, family. There's something these guys know about Kenya, and they're not telling us, but they're exploiting it. And I talked on my YouTube channel about how
there's no Kenya,
now
lady.
Trump has kicked out the globalists of the divided states. They're looking for a new home.
He has not kicked out any globalists. See, that's why Dr. Mommy doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. You ever kicked out any globalists, guys? Trump is a puppet. Sounds like everybody's who's saying this now. I understand that Trump is a puppet. We know the globalists are. He's not kicked out any globalists. Trump is a puppet. All right? And a complete puppet. Everything he's doing is showing that he's a puppet. I told y'all that he was a puppet. Everybody's like, wow, I think Trump's a puppet. Yeah, dummy. Yeah. So he supposedly released the JFK files. Who killed JFK? Nothing's in there. And we know who killed JFK. It's called those cats. Everybody knows that. See? But those files have been redacted because he told he better not release them. And he didn't. And all the puppets he put in there are now talking about the cat's talking points. because he's a puppet. There's no so. Dr. Mummy still doesn't know enough. She's like, hey, the globalists are now coming to Kenya. The globalists already own Africa, lady. They're not coming to Kenya. They're already there. Go ahead, Joe.
Literally, always been here.
Exactly.
And let's
That's why you're getting abducted. You know?
pray and hope that Kenya does
What
not
are you
become
talking
the
about the globalists? Like, what you
new headquarters
she's
of
the
the
new.
new world order.
She's the new Alex Jones, the globalist.
I know. It is always a globalist.
Agenda, because you know they want to hit population.
I like the way
You know they want to.
I like the way what Stu Peters does Alex Jones. Do the globalist. Who are those people?
The globalist.
That's right, Joe. That's right, Joe.
The education of children and environment is the biggest thing, and they'll all be in Kenya. Those three altars.
Now, it all started a few days ago when Dr. Mumbi didn't post any videos to TikTok or being active on Twitter. That's usually unlike her. I know that Dr. Mumbi posts at least once a day. She had told me she had been critical of then President Kenyatta Uhuru. And at that particular point, she came home one day.
It's Uhuru Kenyatta, Mora, not Kenyatta Uhuru. I know he doesn't know. I know he doesn't know shit. It's just.
I would say if there's someone who was really corrupt as well, of course, was Uhuru. We know the Kenyattas are very much involved, of course, with the history of Kenya and how damaged it is today. They're the first actually people to destroy our country. But the funny thing I love or people love about him is because he didn't put it on our faces like that, you know. People really love. If there's a president, I'd say people are gonna cry, like maybe Magufuli in Kenya if he dies, if it's Uhuru, because there's love for this man, like it's there. Every time he pops out, people go crazy about him. Every time he stands to speak a speech, you know, even about the current regime, oh, stop abduction, stop this. People just love him for who he is as a person, but he was not a good leader. That's nothing I'm gonna say. He was just loved by the people.
For a studio, and somebody had broke into that studio and trashed the place completely. She was also critical of President Museveni and made a lot of videos about him. And they actually reached out to her to invite her to Uganda. She declined that visit and never took that flight.
Of course, she's smart.
Get back to the story.
Exactly. She's not no dummy. At least that point, Museveni's inviting you to Uganda. I'm good. I'm good, nigga. I'm good.
You want me to eat matoke? I eat Uganda. No, thank you. I don't like matoke. I don't like it.
3 days on social media. So many people.
How dare you, Joby?
Concerned. So
or mosquito burgers. No, we don't do that right here. It's not our culture. No.
I'm gonna go back to March 14th. Dr. Mumbi posted. So it looks like Williams Ruto, Chaos Spirit, took out the symbolic representation of the Wizard of Oz. Then she also reposts, people who have a problem with what's going on with the government. Look at this here, posted. Look at us. Who'd have the balls to even try and stop us? Mass cowards and unmarked Ford Rangers. I don't think so. Literally round 2, no breaks, no going home. We'll uproot State House perimeter walls from the ground if we have to. Then people started looking for Dr. Mumbi around March 15th, and they could not find her. Then we come to this post from Francis Gatho. Abduction alert. Name, Dr. Mumbi. X handle, Dr. Mumbi Saraki. Profession, activist. Last seen 72 hours ago. Abductors, the Kenyatta family. 2, government of Kenya.
Shout out to Frank Gado, who of course highlighted this on Twitter, but he has also been abducted. There was a time they also abducted him very bad. They put him actually on a car boot. Whatever happened to him, there were no details, because most of these people, after they abducted, they never talk out. Shout out to Dr. Mumbi for even coming out boldly, posting pictures of what happened to her even after this. Most people don't talk about it. They keep quiet. Only her.
Yeah, that's to keep the, of course, that's to put fear in you.
Yeah,
Of course,
only
so.
her, the nurse was abducted because of talking about the healthcare system not working. She was also abducted, and after she came and talked about what they took her, what they were asking her, how they told her to unlock her phone and all that, telling her to speak the truth of who she's, involved with and all that. So shout out to the bold people who come and talk about these things after the abduction.
And then you started seeing people making content such as this.
Some disturbing reports about Mumbi Seraki, who's a popular social commentator and activist. She's popular on TikTok as Dr. Mumbi Seraki, a really, really active member of the Kenyan TikTok family. Now, her friends are reporting her as missing. They say they last spoke to her 72 hours ago. Her phone has been off since. Her whereabouts are unknown. And so some really, really worrying developing situation about a really active member of the Kenyan TikTok community. She last posted 3 days ago, which for her followers like me is quite unusual because she posts really regularly, of course, on a daily basis.
Post every day.
Then you get Evan Sr. Let's speak up for Mumbi Seraki. She's allegedly been missing for 3 days. She's been a critic of the William Ruto government and likely has been abducted. If you see this tweet on your timeline, just share it. Caught Songo writes, I have received a call from a close friend of Dr. Mumbi Seraki. Her phone has been off and can't be reached for the last few days. I have also checked her socials and she is not posted for that duration. Something is off. We don't know what's going on. Anyone who knows her whereabouts, kindly reach out. Now, Francis Gatho says, I have spoken to Dr. Mumbi Seraki and she's safe. She had been lured by a friend, some lawyer, to meet up. And you know what they say, the only trustworthy lawyer is a dead one. She says she was drugged and can't recollect much. Only that they got into a freak accident and the vehicle somehow burnt to ashes with all her valuables.
So it's a friend. So also, your friends, don't trust your friends, because I've also thought about it, man. Someone can just be given some cash, because they have your number.
You got. I've always told you, don't.
Yeah.
You always try to be nice and don't burn no bridges. You get rid of motherfuckers. Told you, they burn you once, they're not trustworthy. You get rid of their ass. She need to learn that. You get rid of it. You burn that bridge all the way down. Somebody's already done you wrong. I'm telling you, they're susceptible to somebody being used to harm you for some cash because you still have a working relationship. Nah, you burn that. You close that door. See, can't nobody ever get to me because I already burnt your ass up. What? You out of here.
Well, I don't meet up with people like that. That's one thing I also know about. I keep my ass to my house. That's one thing I I don't go out anymore. If you wanna meet me, actually it's here in the studio. So if you're gonna meet me, it's where people are gonna see me. Trust me, not anywhere else. I don't go out. I don't do nothing. So that's one thing I like about me nowadays. So grown. Come on.
Yeah, she's been in hospital ever since. Was discharged today.
I'm not burning no bridge, but trust me, you're also not getting me outside. Trust me, I'm not burning no bridges. That's one thing I do. Getting me outside, oh my God, you're gonna cry your mother and father.
And currently in the company of family and friends. It was definitely a setup because even though her handbag with belongings and document was burnt, her phone was still showing that it's tracking on the SGR to Nairobi. I won't stop reiterating the frontliners to stop meeting people, including friends.
If it was tracked on the SGR to Nairobi, that means she doesn't live in Nairobi, moron, like you just said. You don't even know your own report, dummy.
And then it's a lawyer friend. Personally, I have a lawyer friend, so I don't trust none of them. That's just one thing for sure. I don't trust.
I don't know. What? Mark is a lawyer? Most of your lawyer friends are good, Joby.
Yeah, they are good, but I don't trust none of them. None. I don't trust none of them. They are lawyers. Trust me, that's something I think I've put in my head for a very long time because I've had how they talk. Some of them, not Mark, but I've had some how they talk, questioning me about the things I talk about. I'm like, nah, you look like a you look like a traitor. So I'm not telling you shit even about my company. So go to hell. Yeah.
For you guys don't know, NIS means National Intelligence Service, okay? Dr. Mumbi herself posts proof of life and thank you for hashtag free Mumbi Seraki. They almost got me last Friday, family, but as fate would have it, I am back home, safe and sound. Battered, bruised, burnt, but still very much here to bring in the new dawn. What was supposed to be a casual sherehe Now, if you can look at these pictures, she definitely looks like she's been through a lot. You see the band-aids there. The first picture, we can look at her arms there in the second picture. Her hair, she suffered a gash there. So then there is the car. Okay, let's look at the car. The car was definitely damaged with flames. And then there are some other people that are questioning this. Just a question. The accident happened 4 days ago. No one reported anything about a burning vehicle. Photos, I don't know what that means. Let's get full info. It's not that straightforward. So you have people that are doubting what happened. She's lucky to be alive. They wanted her phone for evidence. Kenya is an active crime scene. The accident picture, maybe it was downloaded from the internet. Never trust all you hear. This person says Dr. Mumbi abducted herself, full stop. There is a lot of speculation about what's really happening with Dr. Mumbi. And again, I haven't spoken to Dr. Mumbi in 4 or 5 years on the phone or anything like that. So I haven't talked to her. I don't know what her status is, but I'm not sure as to all that has happened.
Yeah, but that's the video. We know what's happening. It's abduction. It's been happening in our country. People have been silenced to not talk the truth. And if you check her page on TikTok, the last video she made was about the Dutch family, talking about, them coming to Kenya, And of course, she's been talking about literally all these visitations of even the British family, the other prince and queen who came here last year, I think last year or last year, but one. She always talks about a bunch of things. But personally, I've even said it, like, I've outgrown her content. For me to see her being abducted for being actually very cordial with her words, she codes her words literally. She's not that open to
exactly
talking the truth or saying, so and so, mentioning names. She says Nabi. Nabi, of course, it is on her videos. That is Ruto. She uses words that you can literally be able to understand who she's talking about, not using the actual words. So, men, we wish her peace wherever she is and healing. And we're going to see, of course, if she's going to continue with our content the same way. This is going to tell us a lot if she's going to be continue. As much as she's come out to post the videos and the pictures of what really took place, we're going to see if the confidence is still going to be there, because what I've seen is that most of the people's confidence is shut down after this, after all those tortures. They keep quiet. They don't release the same content anymore. And to protect your family members, because that's what they go for next. They threaten you about your parents, your children, if you have children, So we'll see what's really, really going to be happening. But wishing peace upon her life literally right now. She tried to run this. I was telling you what, no matter where you run, they're going to find you. Because even if you go to Mombasa on the best island, come on, they can track these devices. Like, even if you go even if I go to Zanzibar, they're going to still find me. If they really want to find you, they're going to find you. So I don't know what's the best way. You can't keep quiet, because if you keep quiet, that is us accepting this leadership the way it is, that it is okay. But I love how people are standing up with her, and we need to talk more, because she's not the first one. She's lucky she was not killed. We have youths who have been found still floating on rivers, children thrown on the streets, women's private parts missing after being tortured and all that. Man, it's just crazy. So I'm glad she's still alive and she made it out of all that. So that is basically what is happening. Shout out to Sister Michelle, shout out to Joa Mosquito, Baron Scott, you're doing amazing. Habari zetu njema, Joa Mosquito, ya kwako Wambaji. And also see you asking what happened to Dr. Mumbi. Like we've seen, she was abducted, and right now she's been allowed to come back home, but we'll see how things are going to continue. Morning to you too, Sister Michelle. Karibu sana. And of course, as we get to continue with much more information and what is happening, I want to share, of course, DRC Congo's president, who's talking about working with Trump, and this is why you see these African leaders never learn shit, they don't. And of course, because they don't have any power, they're going to continue working and doing what is expected of them, which is enriching the rest of the countries. Of course, you've been a big man syndrome, getting the dollars, continue exporting the gold as they should. So here is explaining, of course, how Trump should be benefiting, how the U.S. is going to benefit, of course, through the leadership of Trump in mineral exploitation. That is, of course, from DRC Congo. So let me share this very quickly as we get to continue.
Engaged. We are joined tonight by Felix Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Mr. President, thank you for being
He's not
here.
president
I want
in
to start
Congo.
with this.
He don't
The
control
Trump
no
administration is interested in securing exclusive mineral deals with countries rich in rare earth minerals.
They
We
just
saw
told
that
you get out.
obviously
They just told
recently.
you get out your country, get all the Africans out, but now you talking about you want our minerals. What kind of moron is this?
Aged. We are joined tonight by Felix Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Mr. President, thank you for being here. I want to start with this. The Trump administration is interested in securing exclusive mineral deals with countries rich in rare earth minerals. We saw that obviously recently with Ukraine. Can you talk about the discussions for a deal with your country?
Très bien, merci. Bonsoir à vous.
Thank you very much. Good evening to you. We are looking for partnerships, and we have established partnerships with many other countries.
What has partnership so far served Africa? Let's start there.
What partnership he's talking about where you don't control none of it?
Exactly.
What partnership? You got the Chinese running around Congo stealing all kind of shit. People working for poverty wage. What partnership are you talking about?
Exactly. Because the first comment you see here on this video, someone says, Congo doesn't need America. America doesn't need Congo. And someone needs to go and tell this to the Congo president because Africa is not benefiting from any of it, literally.
Exactly.
And then someone else says that the people of Congo need to kick this man out ASAP. Of course, that's why he was re-elected because he serves a good...
I don't believe he's re-elected. I don't believe he's re-elected. I think they put him in there.
Not by the people, of course, by them.
Exactly. I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe none of it. I don't believe in none of these elections in Africa, Job. Exactly.
Of course. I always say not by the people, but by the people who need him there. And I also see someone else. This is so disappointing. Unity is not foreseen with making this move. Know your value, Congo. Look up and pray. Describe friendship. Big mistake because we have no friends. Literally, as Africans, they are all our enemies. They all want to benefit. Like
exactly. We ever wrote that? Wrote what Joby said. They get that's the truth. You have no friends, because you don't know how to be friends with African people. You're the majority on the planet, but you're tribal and backward. You're tribal. You don't want to work with African. You work with everybody else who don't like your ass. But if you just unite, you're the world's power. But you won't do it. I want to be with the Chinese. I want to be with the white man. I want to be with the Indian. Why would you be with the other Africans? They're a different tribe than me. All these other motherfuckers are different tribes than you, stupid. They're not part of your tribe. And can give a damn about your tribe. After you unite, you bring back power. Because you are the majority. First of all, Africans are the majority on the planet. Secondly, you hold all the riches on the planet. If you take back your minerals like Ibram Touré's doing, that's why you got the Muslims talking about you got Saudi Arabia never gave a shit about no Burkina Faso stealing gold. And say, oh, Ibram, we want to build you 200 mosques. What? Why? All of a sudden you want to build me 200 mosques? Because that's called soft power, guys. They always want the Africans. They want to give you these goofy religions. So they indoctrinate your people to have you worshiping their ass. So he said, I don't need no mosque. I need hospital. You want to build some real hospitals here? Then do it. Some real schools, do that. Of course, they don't want to do that. They don't want you educated. They don't want you to have real health care. They want you with the goofy mosque. Go ahead, Joe.
And churches. It has gotten so worse. I was saying
of course, churches too, but he's since that's mostly a Muslim country. You got Christians there too, but I think the majority is still Muslim. They're gonna bring the church. That's why the Catholic Church showed up too, right? Remember, the Catholic Church showed up about a month ago with Ibram. They always bring the goofy religion. They need Africans caught in these goofy religions.
And they really have them caught up because I was saying on Monday, on Wednesday, someone should remind me, read this or share this. So I bumped into this article, and this is not just an article. This is real shit happening. A Christian church is trending online after they announced that they are selling plots and lands in heaven for $1,000 per square meter. The pastor says he spoke to God and he was guaranteed permission to do this. They have already collected thousands of dollars from people.
Hey, Still treating a lot of people moron. I'm collecting plots. I gotta pay for shit in heaven that's supposed to be free. Well, how does heaven have land? How's he? I talked to God. Where's God? Why God talk to this goofy nigga? Is God the real estate agent? This is how you know you're so fucking stupid. You're so backward in the head. This is absolutely absurd that you even fall for some nonsense like this. That means I hope you people don't have children. That's why I can't be reincarnated with one of these morons. I can't. Give my money to damn.
Let me share this video here from TikTok. I bumped into this video explaining the same thing you've been explaining. When you talk about the mineral resources, of course, how white people have had access to all this, our love, especially our kindness and love,
Yeah.
that is what they have been experiencing. So let me share this. She explained it very well, talking about how colonization has been able and how they managed to conquer Africans because of the love we've had. Let me share this. Okay.
Yeah, you're loving people.
Yeah. So Skedi is just a sellout. Again, Angola and the rest of us maybe for Africa. But Skedi, no. Skedi is a sellout. Let me share.
Value systems. We were welcoming to visitors. Kindness was also an important virtue in African society. Unfortunately, the values that were held in high regard in African society were the same values that made Europeans view us as naive and inferior.
Naive, gullible. That's right.
Our kindness was taken for weakness. The same thing happened to the Aztecs in America. After Christopher Columbus's first voyage, he described the natives as so naive, so free with their possessions. When you ask for something, they never
They
say
give
no.
it nice and loving.
They offer to share with anyone. To European imperialists, being kind to one
And then,
another.
pause. She they always skip half. So Columbus said, "Thing these people never refuse anything. They're nice and loving. We'll be able to conquer them easily and make them servants." See how kind and loving they are. Not that we're going to be brotherly with them. We're going to conquer them and make them our servants, and then we're going to murder the most of them off so we can steal all the land they got here. Remember, they were bringing Columbus gold. He said, "Just bring it to." I asked him, what this stuff is? Can you bring me more? They would just bring it to me. I said, "Wow, we need to, conquer these morons and kill them." Go ahead, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Strangers was not a common occurrence. You see, by 1601, the Dutch had already established the first stock exchange in history. This also means that capitalism began to take shape in European society. In essence, it was every person for themselves, may the best businessman win. So when they set foot in Africa and saw people living in harmonious communal societies, they became targets, easy targets. And that's how precious minerals and other resources were siphoned out of Africa to build Europe.
Yeah.
Here discrimination goes.
Okay, yeah, so that's the video there, and if you check
At
out
least
videos,
that's what built Europe. Europe was always poor, backward, and messed up.
So our love till today and kindness is what is making us being taken advantage of. If you look at it, because it's in us, they don't have it naturally in them.
No.
I don't want to call it docility. It's the love and kindness that they see first that makes them take advantage before they even look at because we're so Africans, even me myself, trust me, there's a day I was going home and then I had this group of women where I always buy my vegetables and all of them were like, "Hey Sasa, you look good," and I really felt so much love and I was like, wow, if this is the Africa literally the white man approach at first, I mean
it was.
I'd also take advantage. For a minute, I'm like, I was like, man, this is so much love. Like, out of nowhere. Then when I go there, they always like give me some free gifts, like bananas and all that. Then I look at it, I'm like, man, this is the African love that I've seen even in the village. Because normally I've said, like, for me growing up or how we used to like seeing the cultures and traditions of growing up and sharing as Africans. We never lacked food. Number one, we could share. If I go visit maybe Ansanken one, I'm going to go with a bag of maize. Ansanken one is going to give me a bag of beans. Okay. If I go to Ruto, I'm going to carry maybe a jar of...
But Africa is a communal society, Joe. It's based on love and helping one another. So that's what it's based on. but the Europeans are not. The Europeans grew up with see, Africa is abundance. The European, their societies were what they call a scarcity. So they used to rob and kill from each other and steal from each other. So that's their nature. So that became their how they built societies. The societies that they still got today, to rob and kill and that's what the societies are based on, the steal and theft, because that's what they had to do in Europe, because Europe never had it. Europe didn't have food, it didn't have minerals, it doesn't have anything. That's what you heard Putin said. Why would I invade you guys? You guys have nothing. What would be my? Why would I want to invade Europe? For what? To take over your debt? No. Why would I? Putin made him mad. Why would I invade you? What is? You don't got anything. You got from Africa. You don't got nothing. So why would I invade you for what?
Yeah, so the African love and kindness is still there, and that's why when I shared even the video of the Black American woman was feeling emotional from Ghana, telling the diaspora people to move to Africa. She was talking about the misinformation you're given about Africa, but when you get it's pure love, it's there.
I need to share the video about the Black American lady from Atlanta who's now in Kenya saying the same thing. So, oh my God, I come to Kenya and it's all Black people in the love. She like, I'm in Kenya right now in the love, guys. I can't explain the love. She like, so we've been lied to about Africa. I'm trying to tell you. Like, I'm in Kenya right now, guys. And she never shared me like that. This is for Black people. If you're white, scroll past the video. Keep going. I said, keep going. But if you're Black, I'm telling you, people lied to about Africa. I'm in Kenya right now, guys. And the love I've gotten here, I can't explain it to you guys. I can't explain it. So I just seen that. I should see the video right now. You play it. It's funny. So if you're white, just keep scrolling. But I'm in Kenya right now, guys. I'm trying to explain the love.
Yeah, because me, I've even apart from that, I've met this lady I always meet sometimes on the road, and she's like, "Man, you look pretty." You know, especially sometimes maybe when you're in your moods, you know, maybe you just maybe in your pumps and all that. Then you're walking, and then someone approaches, "Hey, you look pretty. I like your neck hairstyle." I'm like, "God damn, you brighten my day." You know, that's an old lady. Like, I'm like, wow. The spirit is just so full. She's just full of love. You know, I always just feel she makes me happy. I'm like, wow, whoever sends you, he needs to keep on sending you, you know, because you always brighten my day every single day I see you. Then she's so joyful, you know, it's there. So if when you come here, you're gonna experience the love. Myself, I always feel it, you know, with my people. Then I do believe also you guys are gonna feel it also right here because we are your people. But as we get to continue, also want to talk about, of course, the cases of jail, not just actually in Africa, but Africans who have left Africa and that they are stuck now in America. So I was seeing this article which was stating how we have a bunch of Kenyans who, so far, 1,000, the total number is 1,000, who have been arrested in the US because of multiple crimes. They're saying that a new report from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs reveals that at least 1,000, that is not a small number, I don't take it as a joke, 1,000 Kenyans, both male and females, are serving long-term jail terms in foreign countries for serious crimes. While the report does not disclose the specific nature of crimes exactly, because what type of crimes? And this is what I was saying on Wednesday. We need to do research before we go outside. We have so much freedom here as Africans. Again, that's something you're gonna experience when you come to Africa. There's so much freedom. You can scream, you can yap, you can do all crazy things. You can call police officers names. Trust me. Apart from just give me chai, you can joke with these people as well. Trust me, at some point, as much as we really hate them. You know, you can't do that in America, can you? Try joking with a white cop. Oh, they tried to kill me. This nigga, he's threatening my life. And the next minute you see it's a gun on your face and you're dead. So there's a lot of freedom actually we practice right here in Africa that I was saying Africans don't really realize it until you step outside and you see how much of offense is there, literally. So Continuing the article, they're also saying that it's not disclosed, of course, the specific nature of crimes. It confirms that most of the 1,000 Kenyans jailed were convicted for drug trafficking and possession of illegal firearms. I'm like, Kenyans can afford firearms in America? I mean, didn't you get to go some money to come buy some land or do something else? You're going to buy an old firearm? You know, it's crazy. You should go to the Black Americans where they are and be protected more. I'd make a friend. I'd make a friend like Keith, who is an ex-Marine. He has guns. And then if anyone threatens me, I'm just gonna go to Keith. You know, I don't need to buy a gun. I'll just befriend someone like Keith, literally. You know?
No, Joby. I'd have to teach you how to use it. I give you a gun and teach you how to use it.
But if I can't afford a gun, you know, I just came to America now. I'm trying to make
I give you a gun. I got a bunch of guns. So I give you a gun. So come on, let's go. Now let's go learn how to use it. So we get people up off your ass. You know, it's called the act. You give people some act right.
Yeah, come on, period.
Right.
Say that the sentences are active as of March 2025, and among those jailed is former presidential candidate who is serving a 7-year term in the U.S. jail. And the revelation has been made by Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi, while giving up an update of Margaret Nduta's case, a woman set to be executed in Vietnam after being found guilty for drug trafficking. Mr. Mudavadi says that Nduta's case is complex, but the Foreign Affairs Ministry is in contact with their counterparts in Vietnam and not to reverse Nduta's sentence, but to negotiate it leniently. But I believe that lady probably by now she's dead. They're just lying to the family. I think so. I think she's already dead.
I think so, because remember I seen a video where they were walking out a bunch of them yesterday. They're walking out a bunch of them yesterday. With their faces covered, for the death penalty. So I think she's one of that. I think she's one in that group. It's nothing you're gonna be able to do to save it, because the African countries, you have no power. No one respects you. Without respect and power, you won't be able to do anything. They'll say she broke the laws or ignorance. Ignorance is no excuse to the law. It's not there. They're gonna say it's not our fault. You're stupid. That's your fault. That's your fault. You're dumb. So, like Joby said, if you're gonna leave Africa, you better know what the hell people's laws are. You better know situations. You can't go out like, I just don't know nothing. It's good me just be stupid. Okay, then that can cost you your life. And sadly enough, that's gonna cost this lady her life.
Yeah, we need to stop the ignorance, because I think if I come to Florida also, I'm also gonna Google, can I scream? Can I do a bunch of things? Like, I don't wanna be caught on the wrong side, man, especially with the white neighbors. There's a nigger from Africa making some monkey jumps and noise. I don't want none of that. I live freely. Let me tell you, I put my earphones, I can dance crazily. In America, if I go dance crazily, they're gonna say I have a firearm. Oh, it's my arm though. I mean, it's just my arm. No, she's a threat. It's a nigger. Come on. I don't want none of that. But as you look at also this other article, as you refer to the same one, this is coming from BBC, and it's talking about how African women are punished for being poor.
Of course.
So they're saying that it is an alarming growth currently, where women are overly jailed for working in formal sectors like petty theft and sex outside marriage. Findings, new study by Penal Reform International. And the number of female prisoners in Africa has nearly doubled since 2000, a rate faster than general population growth. If you look at maybe countries like how they're trying to describe here, like Oceania, is it Oceania, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, where Oceania, the population of imprisonment of female is 143%. In Asia is 114. Man, Asia, I feel like Asia is really strict, right? Asia is really
China, because you get caught in China, the corruption, but they don't do like that. They put a bullet in your head. You're out of there, Joe. And nothing like that. like Airtime's friend from Ghana. I don't think we should help. We put bullets in people's heads, and that's your African love. It's not around the world. China, they put a bullet in your head. You get anything, you got caught. You get caught with any drugs. Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam. That's the death penalty. Immediately, you out of here.
Mm-hmm. So this one says the Asia is 114%, and this is without China and India. So this could be countries like, let's say, the Philippines, Vietnam, and the rest. We also have in Africa, the percentage is 82%. Americans, of course, I expected this could be literally black women, 44%. In Europe, it's negative 5%, negative, without Russia involved. And they're also adding that, let me continue with this. The criminalization of poverty is based on laws, and poverty are the main reason why 40,000 women and girls are held in penal institutions on the continent, either as as a pretrial remand prisoner or convicts, according to the study. And let me read the other one. Informal economy, which is hawking. They're so arrested for hawking. I've seen this, of course, a lot of times. Like I was saying the other time, we had Kenyans beating the city councils because of always taking your fruits, vandalizing your business for no goddamn reason. So Kenyans decided to take actions into their hands because we have so many people in jail because of hawking. I mean, what am I supposed to do again if the government keeps setting aside billions of funds to create our own market, but they don't do it? It's a year gone, a year come, a year goes, a year comes, the same songs. Or if we're gonna give you a market of your own so that the city council soon disturb
In most African countries, that's the norm. Like if you go to Ghana, you have not. Do this real quick, Joe. Real quick. Go to YouTube, real quick. I don't know about kids. Say street. Go to YouTube and say street hawkers in Ghana. They're everywhere in Ghana, everywhere. And so it's not. I'm just showing. But that's just you find them also in. I mean, you can say Nigeria. I've seen this. The only African country I haven't seen that in was in South Africa because the whites control them. But every African nation is always hawkers everywhere in the streets, and that's the norm. No one's going to getting arrested to go into jail. But obviously, it must be the white people that get annoyed because you got a lot of white people in Kenya. They get annoyed to seeing these niggas out there hawking goods. I want them out the streets. Get them out the streets because most African countries, like you said, that's normal. It's nothing criminalized. Nothing criminal in it. That's just the norm. When I was in Ghana, they walk up to the car, all around the car, knocking the car. Would you like this? Would you want this? Do you want that? Do you want this? Do you want that? Don't they do that in Tanzania too? When I was in Tanzania, they did a little bit.
It's not that much. I've not seen it compared to Kenya, because we have, it's not that much actually, as in Kenya. I don't remember me bumping into a hawker. Never in Tanzania. Literally. Because I don't remember us bumping into any hawker, someone selling anything. Nah. Maybe on the beach, the ones who sell maybe the jewelries like earrings, the sunglasses. Those are the only ones we could see. Ice cream, the bikinis. And then they're also adding that, for instance, in Kenya, a 2022 study by the International Commission, I'll share the video after this.
And you won't see it in also Rwanda. You won't see it in Rwanda either. Ain't nobody hawking shit on that. Ain't nobody hawking nothing on them streets. You got me locking your ass up.
You can steal $20. You expect to hawk?
You won't let that $20 story go, will you, Joe? You would not let that go.
No. No. For instance, in Kenya, a 2022 study by the International Commission of Jurists, Kenya and the NGO Clean Start found that many women were arrested for petty offenses such as hawking, selling food items, and items in public spaces. And most of the women were their families breadwinners. Of course, majority are always breadwinners. And also they're saying that the debt and non-payment of fines in many African countries, women are criminalized for debt and non-payment of fines in violations of the international law. So if this city council come to you, because all they always need is money, again, the chai. If you don't have the chai, they vandalize your business. They throw the fruits away. They take your fruits, even start eating them, and they tell you not gonna do anything. They beat you, they harass you, and People are
They're
tired
mad
of
because they're mad because they're not getting a bribe. That's what.
of course. People are getting tired of seeing that. In Sierra Leone, a 2020 study found that most of the women in prison at the same time of the study were poor. Many of them reported stealing small sums of money to feed their families. So you can see this is all about poverty. Why am I being arrested for
Of
being
course.
poor? This should go to my president. You are the main reason why I'm poor. Where are the funds you keep taking? The loans, the development projects you're supposed to be doing. Where are they? Why can't I see the benefits so I can stop stealing? Money is not in circulation. Why I will steal because I can't see no money? That's the reason why I'm gonna steal. I'm hungry. I'm gonna steal because I'm hungry. The only time I've stolen is I've
Of
stolen
course.
shoes.
Of course. That's the system because that's the European system that they've set up. Remember, Africa didn't have any hunger. Now you got a system that was put in by Europeans where everything is now Africa runs off a scarcity system, not a system of abundance. You got a European system now. Everything's got to be paid for instead of given to you out of humanity, and it's a need. That's not how it works no more. So you're in a wicked system created by psychopaths. We're living in a psychopathic system.
They also adding in Uganda in 2024, petty theft accounted for a third of minor offenses committed by women, and the majority of whom are poor mothers. I mean, and then we have Museveni having the audacity to say, as a 64-year-old person, if you've never touched a million, I wonder what you're doing with your life. You know? But I'm poor. How does a poor person touch 1 million? Ugandan shit.
Exactly, Joby. How? What he said?
You know?
Unless 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 he overthrows the government like Museveni did, and he got
Exactly.
power. Talking
Another
about.
thing is also loitering and idleness. And in many countries, including South Africa, vagrancy, loitering, and idleness laws are used to fine sex workers because prosecuting them for other crimes would be more difficult, given them victimless nature of the offense and difficulty in finding witnesses willing to cooperate. Yeah, that is what they're saying. And then they're also adding that consensual sex outside marriage and adultery are criminalized in some Asian and African countries. In applied under Sharia law, the actions can attract a flogging or death sentence in northern Nigeria, Mauritania, Somali, and Sudan. Because I know countries like Somali, actually the Somalis culture is very
That's not a retarded Muslim shit. All that retarded. So that's why I said that he's backward ass. And Saudi even Toure called them laws backward. Exactly. He's back. So we got to do away with all these backward nonsense.
And then we have witchcraft as well. Severe countries retain witchcraft
Witchcraft.
related offenses. Women who are deemed not to fulfill expected gender stereotypes, such as childless women, widows, and persons with albinism, are particularly vulnerable to witchcraft occasions. Yeah, so this is crazy.
That's where they were abducting the damn albinos in Tanzania.
Yep, and selling them. And then we have Rwanda, which has the fourth highest female prison population rate in the world. Kids.
Wow, well, why? I told you, I said, yeah, you want to do it in there because I said Kagame will lock your ass up. That's what I said. So it shows what I'm saying is true. I told you, ain't doing that. And Rwanda, I said Kagame will lock your ass up. And that's what you showing right there.
I mean, they're still even $20 here, you're going to. But I just picked it up on the ground, like it's mine.
Nah, you locking your ass up.
It's like the other day when I was with Shmani or someone. I picked 100 bob on the way, and I was like, God damn! I don't remember the last time I picked 100. Like collecting money on the street, it's very rare nowadays. I was like, man, finding someone who has literally just dropped some funds is so hard now. It is so hard. So I wonder why Rwandese won't pick $20 if this has become so scarce.
They know Kagame lock their ass up. So leave that shit alone.
Yeah, they're saying 3.4 female prison population rate per 100,000 people in Africa, the lowest among global regions. The Americans include the US and has the highest rate. So it is crazy. Literally, That is what is happening when it comes to the imprisonment of women. Small cases. And this goes back to our men. Why am I stealing if I have a man? Again, I'm not having no baby by a bum. Like, why am I stealing if I have a man in my life? You
A
know,
lot of women ain't figured that out.
oh my God.
See. Hey, hold on now. I would throw you under the bus, Joey, but I'm not the kind. I would throw you under the bus right there because you're smart, you know better, but your mother didn't know no better because she's a baby. That's right.
I know. You know, I was kicked out of still being a baby, you know, because my first escape at the house was at 16, and my dad thought I'd gone to stay with someone, and I was staying with my uncle, you know, calling me bunch of names. And then the other one, he officially kicked me out when I turned 18. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with life? Get married? And I tried, I was like, I'm not staying with someone who's starving me already. Like, you're starving me, Joby. Now you expect me to sit with you. You claim you love me. This is not love. This is not love of you starving me. Hell no. Love, I'm supposed to be fed. I'm supposed to be less worried. I'm supposed to know my future is secured. You know? And now I'm yawning.
At least you learn that then. Don't be a boyfriend or engaged to a bum ass nigga.
You know, it's like there's a TikTok trend going right now in Kenya. It's called useless things I got for my baby. I've not really seen the whole challenge, but it's literally like women regret having children at a younger age. That is what I've seen.
Of course.
So it's just so crazy. Let me see if I can find the
I told you, your ass dodged the bullet. I said, how'd you get away, Joe? I knew what I wanted.
I'm not having children by no bums. No way. Trust me, you're not trapping me, that baby. You're trapping yourself. Like, you're not trapping me. Hell no, I refuse. So these let me see.
Hai unapatana na mtu kwenda safari rally Naivasha alafu utakuja hapa kupostia watu the useless things I got for my child. Unaona watu wamebaki nyumba wamekufa.
Yeah, so this lady reacted to it. I love this lady. She's one of the ladies who showed people how to react when this city council keep on disturbing you. She ran away with one of the city councils and she dropped him out of nowhere, you know, to teach him a lesson. Never enter a woman's car or anyone's car, no matter who you are, because you can get abducted too, you know, and you have no funds to go back to Nairobi. So I don't know where she dropped that city council guy, but her video went viral. So ever since she's been reacting, you know, on videos, or she just makes content on TikTok. But I love her because she speaks sense, as much as most of the people don't like her. She's here saying there's a certain rally this weekend that is happening, Safari Rally. Well, of course, the Safari Rally. You guys know the Safari Rally, right?
Of course, I'm talking about that damn race thing.
Yeah, so we have women, you know, who are going to be going out this weekend. They have children, but won't have money for diapers next week. They are going to be drinking Hennessy and all types of alcohol, expensive alcohols, because them babas can afford it. Because you're going out with married men. They're always sneaking out with married men. These women who have children and no baby daddies on the picture, they're always sneaking out with married men to take them to these places. Now you go drink expensive alcohol, and then next week you're going to be borrowing us money online on TikTok for diaper and food. Like what? That's the kind of bullshit I don't want. I'm going to be begging because I gave birth to a bam somewhere who was... No, you know, I'm not doing none of that shit. And women need to learn. Women need to learn. Oh, love. You put love somewhere else when it comes to the baby. Come on, don't play with me. Don't play with my womb like the heck. No, I'm not accepting that. No way. But as we get to wind up, as we come to the end, as I get to share that video of the hockey, and as I read the comments here, let me see the hawkers here of Ghana. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep it on mute and then read the comments here as I get to wind up. I see we have Joe Mosquito and Sunken One again. Joe Mosquito earlier was saying they want to work with Trump in exchange for peace. exchange for nothing, exchange for nothing, exchange for our resources. There's no peace that is going to be returned back in DRC Congo just because I'm working with Trump. You already called us a shithole. We don't even need to be talking to this one, number one. You even say you don't know Lesotho, but you know Rainier. You're not making sense to me. How do you know You don't know Lesotho, but you know Rainier. How do you know South Africa then? If you don't know, come on. Like, we should not be talking to Trump. We should be going to shit on that toilet that man created of his face. He's the shithole for it, not us. He's the shithole. I also see we have Ansankeno in the building is asking who got Dr. Mombi. That is, of course, the who, that is Ruto and his friends, because he's not telling us who, so it's him we're gonna blame. We say blame Ruto here. Blame Ruto. That is all we say. I also see John Mosquito says apparently she got abducted. Of course, yeah, she got abducted. I also see by whom? It's Ruto and Sanken one. It's Ruto. It's blame Ruto. That is what, when you come to Kenya, just say blame Ruto. Okay. That's what's up. And everyone will understand what you're saying. And I also see you saying, Joby, you need some security. We were telling Kid that right now with the Waton, but trust me, even with security or not, if they want to get you, they will. Personally, being honest, I'm not scared. I've already known if this is going to happen to me, what to prepare for. I'm not scared. I'm not saying anything wrong. I'm just saying everything right. I'm right. I'm posing the right question. I'm speaking the true facts of what is happening in our country. We demand accountability. So yeah, I don't need some security. Let the
So I might
universe
give him
guide.
security, but but I don't think exactly. I don't think security would work because the security would run away. Hey,
Yeah, the universe. I always ask protection personally from the universe because I know what I'm doing is very dangerous. Of course, the information I'm putting outside there is dangerous to them. They don't want that. But I always say, let God, the universe, protect me. I can't do nothing much about that. That's all I can put outside there.
that's it.
My words are
That's it.
enough to ask
That's it,
protection.
Joey. Just speak. Exactly. Exactly. You
Yes.
make now. Just make sure you always watch your surroundings. Be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
That's
why I
it.
got less friends personally. Being honest, I got less friends. I don't have a bunch of friends like I'd say back in 2022. I don't have friends, and I'm also grateful my phone was somehow hacked because I've lost many numbers I didn't need. You know the important people in your life when they look for you. So I knew the
Yeah.
important people who looked for me and called me back, and I got their number back. The rest was just filling up my phone book for no reason. So yeah, I'm grateful that really happened, being honest. And I also see you asking about Katie. What does she do now? Being honest, personally, I have no idea,
We
but I
have no
don't believe
idea what happened. We ain't heard from Kate in a year. I think she's probably out there one of the hawkers getting knocked in the head. I don't know.
she's not on journalism. That's one thing you can trust. She's not part of journalism or anything. But I don't
No,
know what she does.
I knew that wasn't gonna happen. she,
Yeah, she's not
she,
on journalism.
the funny thing about it, you guys are on TikTok. I didn't tell. I don't think I told Joey this. She was on my TikTok show about two. What was about this show? 2-3 weeks ago. She popped up in there, and you can always tell. Always read people's intentions. I know she feels sad that she fucked up, but that life is not working out for the way it's supposed to. You know, she had a decent job in Kenya. She fucked that up. Her attitude. You know, I tried to save her over and over again, but hey, some people got to find out the hard way. So I'm sure life is pretty rough. Spike's talked to Spike said her life is fucked up. So I already knew that.
Talks to her.
So I knew Lizzie. I mean Lizzie. I knew Shimani wasn't gonna never tell me. I know Katie's life fucked up.
Yeah.
I keep it real.
Yeah, but I also see and someone says you can just run for no reason and not get shot. That's true. And I also see John Mosquito says is the 3-strike rule still active in America? Not
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
Okay.
It is.
And I also see you also say the gun is for protection in the drug game. I get you, of course. Of course I get that. But yeah. Personally, I don't know. I don't want to have a gun here. I don't want to have a gun. I gotta be mature enough, like
if we got wild lions walking around, Joe, but you need a gun. We got wild lions walking around, goddamn, run gun. You ain't got to shoot them. You shoot up in the air. They know that they'll get scared and run. You know, you got to shoot them. Yeah, yeah. Lions know what guns are. So you shoot, you pop it up in the air. Boom, boom. They scatter. They run. They know what that is.
Yeah, for that I would, but for now, with my mentor, with me being a journalist, and then at this age, and then with the Nigerians always poking me outside there, and other
but we don't want you. We don't want you to be goddamn irresponsible. Go shoot somebody. Go shoot somebody because they touched your ass, Joby. That's
what I'm saying. Right now, I don't have that maturity to handle a gun. Being honest,
but that's why you just get you some pepper spray. Shit.
Yeah, for now, no. For now, I always tell people, for now, I can't handle a gun because I've seen, I know how quick my temper is, and I've seen the kind of anger I always have when I want to like react to someone. So I wouldn't imagine having a gun. You grabbed my ass. You expect me to let you go? Oh no, I'm getting this act right. Literally, you're gonna act right on your leg or your arm.
Well, what you get no act right with just somebody touching your butt cheeks, Joe. That's yeah.
Oh my God, it is.
It is. It's disrespectful, Joe, but don't deserve a bullet.
You'll never do that. You're gonna heal and never do that. You'll be traumatized.
It don't deserve a bullet, Joey. You know, it's got to be the proper response for the proper behavior. You know, just get some pepper spray.
For now, I'll get pepper spray and taser. That's the next thing I'm ordering on Kilimall.
Oh yeah, we'll get a taser that shit.
Yeah, that's the next thing I'm getting. Because man, I can't. These men be testing us out here. Like what? You told them what they did to the member of parliament, no, the senator, and then you want me to apologize for you to
I'm not telling you to apologize. I'm telling you don't shoot nobody because of that. That's overkill. You get some pepper spray. That's too.
For now, as Joby, I agree and accept. I do not have the maturity to handle a gun. I just say it broadly and honestly. I can't. You know, right now, maybe when I'm 30, but now, hell no. I'm gonna put some act right. That is for sure. We're coming to the end of today's episode, family. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Well,
if you kill me, that's not no act right. I'm gone.
Yes, this was for protection. This was just for. What did they try to do? They were getting on my pants. They even tried. They removed a knife on me. I'm gonna exaggerate the shit out of it. I'm gonna call Shmani to cry. Shmani knows how to act. Shmani, cry for me. I just wanted to cry and she'll cry for real tears. Don't play. But anyway, family, much love. Thank you so much. This has been
love. Come back and join Airtime the next 15-20 minutes, guys.
Yes, I've taken literally 30 minutes of our time, but I'd missed also conversating here. I'd missed, all this fun and talking, and I feel.
Yeah, we ain't had no show all week. The damn lights, crazy.
Yeah, and I feel so happy that I've, been able to do this today.
Today, family, we're going to talk about tonight on the Africa Today Show, the find that they found out in Egypt that tells you about the Emerald Tablets. What they found under the pyramids can't be explained. The new thing that is found under the main pyramids, you can't say. The structure that they found is super advanced, and they know it. You can't build none of this shit today. So that's going to be the show on Africa Today Show. What the new structure they found under the pyramids, the halls of Amenti, as Thoth told you. Thoth told you he built those pyramids. A Tahuti. Let's do the Africa Day. Tahuti told you. All that shit they just found through radar. There's a whole superstructure underneath the fucking pyramids, and they're blown away. Like, what? That's right. That's right.
Yeah. but Americanized Kenyans. Yeah, Kenyans are Americanized. I think you guys already know that. I mean, not all
Of
of
course
them.
they are.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the ones in Nairobi are. Shit.
yeah. We are. But anyway, much love. The Africa Today show is at 8
Look,
p.m. I don't know the time. What's the time at that time on your end,
That's
Byram?
that. Oh,
8
that's 12 o'clock noon. Okay, that's 1 o'clock Eastern time or 12 o'clock noon Central time. So if you're in the Central time like Byron is, it's 12 o'clock. If it's Eastern time like Unsunken One, that's 1 p.m. If you're in the Western time like George Guy, that's what's that? 9 o'clock. Oh no, is that 10? Yeah, 10. My fault, 10 o'clock. So it's 10 a.m. George Guy's time, 12 p.m. Byron's time, and 1 p.m. Unsunken One's time. And if you're on Zoe's old time, that's 11 o'clock a.m. So if you're living in Colorado on Mountain Time like Zoe was, it'll be 11 o'clock a.m.
You heard it. But much love. Have yourself some
Love.
beautiful. Thank you so much to everyone who has tuned into this. We shall be catching this on a replay. I hope you guys get to enjoy. Remember to download our app on the Google Play Store. Very easy to find. Blackout Fire Network is the name. If you are an Android user, we are on the Google Play Store. If you are an iPhone user, you can use our active website link, www.blackoutfirenetwork.com. Get yourself the hoodies, the merchandise, all on the apparel store. The vitamins, amino proteins.
You can even get the vitamins now, poly, guys. You can go get vitamins, and you can get it now and pay later. Okay.
Slowly, pay slowly. So get yourself some Moringa Pure. Get yourself some, shea butter, whatever you'd like. If you get
You can
some,
put your stuff on layaway now. Get it now and pay later.
get yourself the honey goat weed, and get that work done. Much love.